하이델베르그 엠네카. On the great terrace, on the left, the steep pass from the town, beer Bergweg rise up toward this terrace. It was created as a panorama terrace by Frederick Pors, who extended the gatehouse below that had been built by his predecessor and simply added the terrace above it. From here we can enjoy a unique view across the patchwork of the roofs of the walled town that are dominated by the Church of the Holy Spirit over the river Neckar, the walled bridge built by Karl Theodor to the wooded slopes of the Heiligenberg hill on the opposite bank, and beyond that to the densely populated upper Rhine plain with the Neckar meandering into the distance. This is a wonderful place to contemplate and enjoy the mood of the changing seasons and the magical play of the light as evening passes through each may transition toward night. The prince-electors had a great battery built in front of the terrace as a protective wall, the eastern end of which form a corner bastion of the armory. Only the lower part of the walls of the latter have been preserved, but when it was built, it rendered the round north-eastern tower superfluous as a defensive structure. This was therefore converted by adding upper octagonal stories for residential purposes. These being surmounted by a great bell of about 1550, since when it has been called the Bell Tower. After the 30 Years' War, Prince-elect Karl II had Frederick Pors so-called Ball House, a place for sports and games, demolished. In its place in front of the northwestern corner of the castle, he had a mijkor redoubt built in 1681. In combination with the Karl Tower in front of it, this provided added protection to this section of the castle and did further gun emplacement at various levels at the foot of the so-called Pet Tower, at the northwestern corner of the castle. A glance back at the Frederick building reveals that, in addition to its splendid courtyard facade, it also has a magnificently ornamented side facing the town, which its typically Renaissance features are combined in a manner that achieved even greater clarity and harmony. This facade is flanked by the plain and unadorned external walls of the Hall of Mirrors building to the left and the women's quarters to the right. The western end adjoined Joanna Cashmere Barrel building, which has only one upper floor topped by a flat roof. As a result, it allowed light and air to reach the upper stories of the women's quarters and could also be used as a terrace. The hollowed out space in one of the sandstone paving stones, which looks like an impression made by a boot, always attract the interest and speculation of visitors to the great terrace. Legend has it that during one of the fire that afflicted the castle, a knight jumped out of one of the upper windows in full armor and survived unscathed, leaving just his footprint behind. Another version of this legend insists that the knight in the question was, in fact, the love of the wife of one of the electors, and that his jump, presumably not in full armor, was an act of desperation provoked by the unexpected return of the deceived husband. Whatever, our tour now takes us back through the archway leading to the courtyard, after which we turn right and descend to one of the city's most famous attractions, the Great Tune. The entrance fee to the castle courtyard includes entry to the building containing the Great Tune, a sight which no visitors will want to miss. After all, it is claimed to be the biggest wooden barrel in the world ever to have been filled with wine. Prince-Elector Johann Casimir had a bolted cellar fitted with a barrel holding above 125,000 liters, which Karl Ludwig had replaced in the 17th century with an even bigger one, 195,000 liters. Finally, under Karl Theodor, the present day barrel was constructed in 1751 from 130 oak tree trunks. It can hold 221,725 liters, over 48,000 imperial or 58,000 US gallons, and is 8.5 meters wide and 7 meters high, with a dance floor on top. A Baroque flag bears the initial of Karl Theodor. The famous Great Tune, 1751, with a capacity exceeding 220,000 liters. On the wall opposite by the stairs, there is a statue on the plinth representing the dwarf Perucheo. He came from South Tyrol, could reputatedly hold a lot of drink, and served as court jester and keepers of the tune under Carl Philipp. His name is supposed to have come from his standard reply to the question whether he would like one more glass of wine to drink. Peruchel, no. Why not? Tradition has it that Peruchel died as a result of being talked into drinking a glass of water. He is to this day the symbol of the carnival in Heidelberg, and is seen to typifying the last way of living on which the Palatinate region prided itself. He is said to have invented the clock hanging next to his estate, the ring of which has been pulled by innumerable visitors from all over the world. Apart from the gigantic Cooper's tool on display here, one can hardly help noticing an old section of piping. This is what remains of a pumping mechanism by which wine was pumped out of the great tune into the pump room directly above. This room was the same level as the King's Hall, so that the glasses of guests could be kept topped up with wine without the servant constantly having to run up and down stairs. The castle cellars were stocked with a good 700,000 liters of wine, and the hard-drinking residents and their guests are reputed to have had a daily wine consumption of almost 2,000 liters. The dwarf Perkel was appointed guardian of the tune by Elector Karl Schroeder.